if you want to go fast, you must go alone. If you want to go far, we must go together. I guess for today, we'll get to unpack what that means for her and what that means for her business. And also, she understands the importance of hunting in packs. I guess for today is Basetsana Tladi. We get to chat to her about exactly what she does, who she is, and why she does what she does. And today we'll get to understand exactly who she is and the reasons behind why she's doing the things that she's doing. Basetsana, thank you so much and welcome to Conversation with Nnusi.
Thank you for having me.
I think you and I almost have come full circle.
Yes.
When I met you many years ago, you were doing other amazing things, which we'll get to chat about in a short while. But before we get to what exactly what you do, which is called Basetsana Rising, who is Basetsana?
Basetsana is a young girl born and bred in Pretoria, but currently I've been based in Johannesburg for quite a while. Um, Very passionate about women empowerment. A creative.
Okay.
Yeah. Funny thing is, it's looking at my educational background. I have a bachelor, sorry, a double major degree in sociology and criminology.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? Now, from that to having more than 10 years experience within sales and client care and a bit of claims experience, it's impossible to merge the two. But
Yeah.
somehow
I
figured
mean,
out.
you look. I think most of us can relate to that because we then study one thing and end up doing something completely different from what we studied. So speaking about studying, as a little girl growing up in Pretoria, um, surely you had your own dreams about
Yes.
what you wanted to become and who wanted to be.
Yes.
What was that?
Wow. The good thing is, or the nice thing is, I thought I was going to be a psychologist.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. It's because I enjoy listening to people. I love to help. I always say that, and I believed this when I was a young girl. I still believe in it till now, that sometimes you find healing from talking.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people talk to you, they don't always want you to respond. They don't always want you to respond. Sometimes they just want you to listen, and the answers actually come from within. So, in as much as I'm not a psychologist, but I believe with what I'm doing now, very much close to it. So yeah, you reminded me of back in the days. That's where I saw myself
As a psychologist.
as a psychologist, as somebody who was there to help people, someone who was there to listen. That is, and for the longest of times. And I believe that I might not have like the educational certificate to show for it, but the work that I'm doing definitely fits the part.
So I mean, do you think? And I've got a philosophy that I live by, right? So that your career is what you get paid to do,
Yeah.
and your calling is what you get to be, right?
Yeah.
So meaning that. So do you think now look in hindsight, looking at where you come from and what you wanted to become, this is what you do. Do you think that subconsciously you knew or you almost understood what you wanted to be, but you just could not articulate that in words?
You know what? The reason I'm actually a little bit like I'm out of words is because I think you hit the nail. The hit what?
The nail in the head.
The nail. So you so spot on because I think I did realize that that is what I'm into, and I thought, because especially when you grow up, things evolve as you go. And at the time, psychology was the closest thing to having patience and listening to people, and perhaps I didn't know there was the other world of not necessarily having like a solid academia behind it, but just creating your own journey within what you actually want to do. So I completely agree with what you're saying.
I mean, so let's speak about your baby. I mean, your bundle of joy, Basetsana Rising.
Yeah.
What is Basetsana Rising?
That's Rising. Every time that's my baby. That is your.
That's bundle of joy.
You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you before I answer your question.
Okay.
My baby is what wakes me up in the morning. It's the reason for me to wake up, even when on days where I don't feel like waking up. Um, I feel like it's not just for me. I always feel a lot of responsibility because I've committed to a whole lot of other people to say I'm here to help. The moment you tell somebody I'm here to help, the next thing, boom, you're not there anymore because you're having a bad day or
whatever.
you just feeling like whatever. It's not it, you know? It's like having your child is saying, Mommy, I'm hungry. And you're like, not today. You know, it's today. No, it's not
Yeah,
going to happen.
and this.
And these, so that is what wakes me up in the morning. How it came about, or what it's all about. Our aim, or my aim for the business, is to create employment through female entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I believe that the more businesses you create, the more families you are helping.
Okay.
So if you employ one person, it might look like you've just employed one person and you're helping that one person, but you're feeding a whole lot of other families. You know, you could be feeding 4 to 5 family members. So for me, I know that if we can just empower more women to be the best that they can be. And the other thing is our focus is not just only on business. We want women to unleash the best out of themselves. So whether you have a day career, your normal day-to-day career, where you go to a normal job and be the best in that job. If you wanna climb up the corporate ladder, we will help you with stuff like that as well. It's very difficult for me to say what is it that we're actually doing because we are growing every single day. Very new, but I can see, it's a lot.
I mean, I always get to ask this question, right? And the question is, why did you decide to do what you're doing? What was the thing that said to you, I need to do this?
Personal experience,
Okay.
and that's why I keep doing it because what happened was at some point in my life I started. I guess it's maybe. Oh, in fact, I know where it started.
Okay.
So I was working. I was working for a certain company,
Yeah.
right? And that company, I was in sales at the time, and they used to tell us, you know what, you're your own boss, you run your own shop, because when you sell, we have targets, and you sign your own check, and they teach you all these methods. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I was doing well. And then one day I thought to myself, but wait, if I'm the boss to my own shop, then who's the boss? Like, who's the
Yeah, who's the boss?
yeah, and it means if we're all running our own shops and we're doing well, it means they're also doing extremely well. And I started becoming very fascinated in how they were doing things, the marketing, the discipline around the company, the way they used to create drive in how to reach your goals. And I was like, so I became very interested in like, how do they do it? And when you ask questions, which is what led me to be doing what I'm doing today. When you ask questions, people don't really have answers. Eventually, when you do encounter other people that are in business and you ask them questions about, but how are you doing it? How did you get to where you are today? They don't really tell you the whole truth, Even if they share some truth, it will never. Someone will be like, oh no, you know what? I'm just blessed. I'm just lucky. I'm just this and I'm just that. And I realized that. So I started asking questions, sharing some ideas. I started asking for help. But I realized that the difference is that when I speak to guys are very they because they're very
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah.
But they have the info and they're like, okay, but now sometimes they don't want to give a bit too much, then they start to wanna
Pull
reel
you
you
in,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like then they wanna start having some conversations, which is not part of the plan. And when you go to the ladies, they sometimes would have limited information or they have more questions, Then you're like, then answers. Then I'm like, how almost I'm not the only one who's struggling with this. So then I was like, guys, let's do this together. Then I had those challenges like for a while because I realized the guys were doing this on a constant basis and with different guys. But I realized women actually need help. Now the difference is that the women actually wanted to be in this thing as well. They wanted to be successful. They wanted, but they don't have the tools. They don't have the how. They've got the drive. They've got these things, but they just don't have the tools. And I made it a task to say, ladies, let's do it together. And then what happened was I formed my very first event. I remember pitching it on Facebook. There was this group. You should know the group. Brown Saints.
Saints.
Yes. So I pitched it on Brown Saints. There's a whole lot of people. Like, guys, I have this idea. I'm looking for sponsors. Um, So before you can ask for sponsors, you have to say what is the
Yeah.
reason why you're asking for sponsors. The response was overwhelming. Like I had, I think over 40 to 60 sponsors, and I was like, wow. So clearly there's a gap. You
Yeah.
know, this is a need, and from there on, oh,
Okay, so now that was the birth of Basetsana
yeah,
Rising. So where you saw a gap in the market around information sharing around female entrepreneurs
yes,
specifically, one, and then secondly for women that want to get ahead in corporate South Africa, in the corporate world.
yeah.
So that then you saw a niche there. So now, so how has that evolved? Number one, and how has that improved your life? Because I think it starts from within, right? So how has the success of this business in such a short space of time influenced you and somehow changed your life?
So after realizing that there really is a need, there's a gap, what do you then do? You start doing more research. You
Mm-hmm.
start, being fully exposed into that world. Then you
Mm.
start getting even more interested, to a point where after everything, because what would happen is when I have used to have these events, I'd call speakers from outside, to come and give the talks, and somebody who's in business talk about the challenges, and but it's okay. This is where I am today, because I always say that share your story so people can be inspired.
Mm.
But after walking on that journey, I then decided to leave my job.
Okay.
um, I resigned to start my own business. And I remember I was so excited. Oh my gosh, I was like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm gonna be a businesswoman. Yay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make money, a millionaire. Hey, I did not fall flat on my face. Yo, I
Mm.
fell. Boom. And then, but you know what? When I was going through it, I didn't understand. I was frustrated. I was stressed. I was, you have that minor depression. You're like, oh my gosh, it's the end. What's going on?
Mm.
But funny thing is, when I was going through that, I used to say, and I'd pray, like, I don't know what's happening. Surely there must be something that you're trying to tell me at the end,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to get there because this can't go on forever.
Mm.
And today, I don't have to call other or many other speakers. I can also stand in front of
Be a
the
speaker.
crowd and talk about my experience.
Mm.
So, how has that helped me? It helped me to realize that business is an idea that is often sold to us, um, but the reality is not shared.
Yeah. Very true.
So you have to live it. You cannot buy the experience from business.
Mm.
Um, money can be available for some. Money can be, scarce for some.
Mm.
But the experience, you can never buy it.
Yeah.
So that is how, um, this whole journey has helped me. It's helped me evolve. It has also helped me realize that when you worry about certain things, like stress doesn't last forever.
Mm.
And also, when you're in business versus earning a paycheck, when you're in business, you can, they call the street term, you're a hustler.
Mm.
And that's because if today there's no money, you make a plan to bring in money.
Yeah.
Now, when you are working, you have this thing of, I have to work harder, I have to get a promotion, so you're always chasing, what do you call it? It's what is
Yeah.
it? A rat race.
Yeah. It's a red race. You're chasing this thing.
You're chasing it, but you'll never get there.
Mm.
It's just you will never get there. Like, you'll never get there.
So I want to throw a spanner to the works here and say, I mean, we live in a country where over 50% of young people are unemployed, where 30% of our entire population is unemployed, and that's a big problem for any country, for any society, for anybody, right? Um, but I've always believed that not everyone is an entrepreneur, and not everyone is meant to be an employee. Right? So then, how then do you balance the two? How then do you differentiate which is which?
So this is the reason why we don't just focus on entrepreneurship. As I said in the
Mm.
beginning, we help you to either be the greatest in your workspace or be the greatest as an entrepreneur, right?
Mm.
um, you mentioned the high rate of unemployment, especially within our youth. I don't think the issue is the fact that people just don't have the skills only, but I think the when it comes to businesses, you find a lot of people that start a business based on Nnusi is having this podcast and he's doing so well. So therefore, I think I also want to try it out, and I think I'll also do well. So you're not tapping within to find what is your talent. You're not tapping within to check what are you actually good at. I find a lot of people. I mean, I'm from Port Hembla in Hammanskraal. Back home, I remember there'd be salons under the tree. I remember this one particular salon. It started with like 3 people. Net like casually so doing braids under the tree. Yes, you get there. You have to have your own hair washed and the batbaloha and all of that. And then they started to grow. The next thing they were wearing t-shirts, and then they moved to a salon. So I always say that people will say I'm unemployed, but every weekend you're doing your sister's hair, your cousin's hair. People when they come from home from work, they want to come to you to do braids, but they're not paying you. And you also, it's a favor. They're not paying you. The moment you start, it's like you also don't realize that this thing is actually quite serious. Those people keep coming back. Those are your clients.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a master's degree or be well spoken or do whatever. Sometimes that talent is right here. And maybe people can say, yeah, well, make it sound so simple. But that's why we need more business education to help people about stuff like this. That's why we need more mentors. That's why we need um, just more motivation around the youth to say that you can do it. It's not a
So would you then say that instinctively we all need to start understanding what our gifts and talents are? Because in my own definition, your gift or your talent is the thing that you do with the least amount of effort.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then let's speak about the journey of Basetsana Rising. When was it started?
When was it started?
A whole year.
Wow, where are we now? 2021. So it started. Let me see, when did it start?
I don't know. So maybe let me help you put timelines to things.
You're
Right?
gonna go back. I know where you got.
So when you and I met was probably 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then you used to be a part of the quartet.
Yes.
Of ladies that
Fierce
went
moi.
Yes, Fierce Moi,
Yes.
where you went and I think all of you using that quartet had different skill sets
Yes.
that you bring into the table, right? So yours was, if I remember correctly, was about image and consultancy and all of those things. So did it start there, or did it start post that, or did it start before that?
It was definitely post.
Okay.
Was it post? So I think I have this thing in my. It was here. It's like a monkey, the chicken naked monkey. So the idea was there, but and that's why you found me in that space. And I've always really been somebody who's quite driven.
Yeah.
And at the time, I just had this idea, and I just didn't know until this one time. It must have been because if we're in 2021 now, 2020, it must have been 2018.
Okay.
When one day I decided I'm gonna do an event. That was my first event, and you won't believe this, but I wanted to come up with a name that what can I call it? I said, well, I was on the phone with my best friend, and we were just talking about like, but what can I call it? And she said, I said, why are you going around in circles? Your name. I'm like, what about my name? Like, Basetsana, what does it mean? I'm like, yeah, Basetsana, and then what? Oh my gosh, the meaning behind it. Yes. And then I was like, and then we had to play around the whole Basetsana Rising. And for me, it's women. So my initial logo was women holding each other's hands.
Okay.
So Basetsana Rising doesn't mean I am rising.
Yes. It's the collective.
It's Basetsana. So the whole meaning, yes, it's the meaning of Basetsana.
Yes.
So it's Basetsana, we are rising together. And like even this name, I'm so proud of it. I say it with so much pride. And that's where it started. In 2018, it must have been 2018. Obviously, the formal registration and whatnot came much later. But yeah, that's where it started. And it keeps evolving, so.
Look, I think evolution in every society is important.
Yeah.
Because if we don't evolve, we then remain stagnant, and then we become obsolete, and then we become null and void, and then we disappear from the face of the earth.
The other thing is when I mentioned it keeps evolving, which maybe it's important to mention because I think people just like with goals, your end goal can remain the same, but there'll be detours in
Yeah,
between,
in between.
right? So people often think that, oh, if you fail or if you come across some challenges, then it means this thing is gonna go away or this thing. No, it can still stay the same. Your vision is still there, but you'll face some
Yeah.
challenges in between. Doesn't mean if we're planning a trip to Durban and we stop Kai Kai and we have a jaw and we carry on, doesn't mean now we're gonna cancel our plans.
No,
You
we're
know,
still
we still
going to Durban. Just we've just taken a bit of a detour.
exactly.
So Bastan, I mean, so I think we've spoken about the reasons why you started Bastan Rising, and so for you, if you were to ask you in your sleep, what does success look like to you? How would you articulate it?
Hmm, success. I step on some words. Um, wow. You know, first of all, I am grateful for the challenges I've come across.
Mm,
Um, they have taught me that you. They have taught me that. They have taught me that when you are in business, so when you make bold decisions, it's okay to sometimes to fail. You know,
mm,
the only time it's not okay is if you stay down. The only time when it's not okay is for you if you stay down for too long.
mm,
You know, and sometimes too long doesn't have a time frame.
yeah.
Too long for you could be 2 months. Too long for you could be 2 years. But don't stay down for too long. You know,
Mm,
um, so when we talk about success, for me, it's definitely it comes in it's very holistic,
mm,
and this is what I preach also with my people to say success is not just about material stuff. I would love to stay in the best mansion, a very big house. I would love that, you know.
mm,
I would love to drive the best cars, which is coming,
mm.
and its properties are coming as well. You know, I love looking good. I love good things in life. But those they shouldn't be the main focus, you know.
Mm,
Success is a healthy lifestyle as well. Your your healthy mindset, your mental health. Success is good relationships with people. And that for me is success.
mm,
And so far I can say that looking at where I am now, I'm very happy. I'm very content. And if somebody has to say to me, "Oh, do you think you're successful?" Within my own space, yes.
mm,
You know, um, does success have a box? No, it's infinite.
mm.
You know, so that is what success is to me.
And what would you like to see as a success for Bastan Rising?
So when I spoke about it evolving, I'm talking about like the expansion. You know,
Mm,
I spoke about goals to say that things will always change. Your plan can change, but the goal remains the same. At the moment, we're looking to expand. I mean, right now we do a lot of social media stuff, but we're looking to expand to an online business where we're actually going to start selling certain packages, giving free seminars and just free workshops to our women out there. So success is basically me seeing women start their journey with personal rising and us seeing that improvement as they go along within the business. Success to me is seeing different people say, wow, when I started, I didn't know what I was doing, but I started to be in relations with personal rising and that community, and today I'm a different person. Today, my business has went from this level to that level. Hearing different stories from other women. That is success. Ooh, excuse me.
what would you tell you? What would you tell your younger self? So if you were to sit and have a chat with a 15-year-old Bastan today, what would you say to
That you don't have to work long hours for you to make money.
them?
You don't have to, and that you actually you've got this. You know, um, and don't be afraid.
What would you tell a young girl who says, I aspire to be the best in my career? I want to be, so I'm working as a CA, I'm working as a doctor, I'm working as a cleaner at my company, and I want to be the best at what I do. What would you tell them? What piece of advice would you give to them?
the first thing I'd say is that you will be.
Okay.
I will say that because, and I will tell them that whatever you believe is what will come. So I don't have advice for you because whatever you believe is what will come. If you come to me and say, you know what, I really want to be the best, yes, you will be.
Mm.
That's it.
And is it the same advice that you would give a businesswoman?
So it's the same advice, yeah, because whether you're in business or whether you're in, I mean, the only what is the difference? The difference is that you're working for somebody else. The other one is that you've got this thing that people make it so complicated. All we need is a plan.
Mm.
So first you have to believe, and then you can work on the plan. But I can't bring a plan to you when your mind is filled with dirt, and
Yeah.
I can't. So we have to get you to that space of you seeing it. That yes, I want to be the best.
Mm.
Even in business, there's some people that have been in business for years, and you come to them, you're like, yeah, I wanna start whatever, whatever, and those oldies are looking at you like, when, who are you? So as long as you believe, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm the greatest, because sometimes fear it is what hold us back.
Mm.
But if you tell yourself that I will be the best, you will be, and that's where it starts.
Sure. Look, I think I could go on forever and a day because for me, I believe that. So maybe my question to you is that, do you think women in business and women in corporate South Africa face a different challenge than their male
Sure, absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely,
counterparts?
absolutely. So yeah, we still have a long way to go. Um, we have a long way to go in both spheres.
Mm.
When you look at corporate, in as much as nowadays we try, and let me tell you, we try sometimes because we're forced to.
Yeah.
They push women to be ahead because yeah, let's balance the equation.
Mm.
But if we had a choice, they probably wouldn't. You know, and with their own reasons. There's various reasons. Women are different. Understand, mothers, women can be a little bit soft, but there's also other women that have changed um, companies that have turned companies around.
Mm.
We're very smart. Feel like we are
No
like
one is taking that
hello.
away from me, and I believe that if we were
um,
women led, would be very far. But that's not for now.
so so um so that's the challenge because now you're dealing with. Remember, in a corporate or in a workspace,
Layers
there's
of hierarchy. Yeah.
hierarchy,
Mm.
right? So you've got that challenge already. You can't just do as you please. In the business world, there might not be specific hierarchies because now you've got your own business, but there's competition.
Mm.
There's competition. There's information that is withheld. Um, there is there's just that thing. There's people that walk in packs, you
Mm.
know. So a pack of lions, and you're like, but I also want a piece of me. Let me look at that.
So who are you? Mm.
Yeah, who are you? So then maybe when you're walking and there's the hyenas who always take the scrapes.
Mm.
So it's a very interesting world,
Yeah.
Challenges are the standards. Women are, yeah, we have a very long way to go.
And my final question, and which is a question that I ask everybody, right? And the question that it's always intriguing to me, for me to hear what people say. And the question is, so what is your value proposition? So meaning, what is that one thing that you want people to remember you for and about when your name gets mentioned?
Okay, so here's the thing. I want to break it down so that it's easier.
Okay.
Um, with Basetsana Rising, we say to you, if you want to start a business, come to us. Doesn't matter. It might be a thought. It might be something that you want to do on the side. It might be something that you really want to do on a full-time basis. Come to us because we will help you.
Mm.
So we'll help you with business registration. We'll help with business consulting before you even go anyway. We'll help you to just clear out that vision that you have.
Mm.
If you already have an established business, we'll help you with the accounting services. Everything else that includes you making your business a success. Now, what I want to be remembered by is just being that support woman. And I don't only just want to be remembered as someone who is just there about entrepreneurship business. No, I also want to make it fun. Um, Also, as a woman, don't let yourself go. You know, you said when you met me, I was part of a,
A
you know,
quartet.
and I was doing image. Just because image is important. You know,
Mm.
people imagine you going to a meeting and you're there wearing flip flops and you're saying, "Yeah, I run a business. I want to pitch an idea." Take
No
yourself
one takes you
serious.
seriously.
You
Yeah.
know, take yourself seriously. So those are the kind of things, like small things that make a huge difference.
Mm.
Um, yeah, just being the support structure. That is how I want people to remember
Oh, Basetsana, I wish you well in your rising.
me.
May Basetsana Rising,
We
reach,
drive.
yes, may it rise and may attain all its objectives and objectives and imperatives.
Thank you.
May you succeed in all that you do. May you keep shining, and we will support you whichever way we can.
Thank you. Thank you, Missy.
Yes, this was Conversations with Nnusi, and my guest for today was Basetsana Tladi on Basetsana Rising and about why it exists and what it seeks to achieve in the overall. This was another exciting episode. Please continue subscribing to our platforms. It's Conversations with Nnusi on YouTube, on Spotify and SoundCloud. It's Nnusi Gazi. And a big thank you to Moeng SA Restaurant in Rosebank for hosting us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.